We're very busy in the tropics. We have Category 4 Hurricane Fiona moving northward away from the Bahamas. We have Tropical Storm Gaston in the far northern Atlantic. Two more tropical waves which could develop in the far eastern Atlantic, but it's the tropical wave with a high chance of development that we're going to have to watch as it moves into the Caribbean over the next several days. Here it is on satellite this afternoon. Invest 98L. Doesn't look terribly organized at the moment, just a scattered area of storms. And it is dealing with some northerly wind shear as well. But over the next several days, this will get better organized as it moves into the Caribbean. So this begs the question, where exactly is this going and how strong could it get? Let's talk about it. Well, here's the latest computer models, and they're in excellent agreement over the next several days, tracking this westward into the west central and then eventually the northwestern Caribbean heading into early next week, where we'll likely be talking about a rapidly strengthening storm. So we're going to have to watch this very closely, not just here in Florida, but along the Gulf Coast as well. Here's what we're thinking steering-wise. This is being steered west right now by the Bermuda High. And over the next several days, this is going to continue off to the west. And by early next week, a very strong trough is going to be digging down into the Great Lakes region, opening up a weakness over the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and this would allow this disturbance to turn northward into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, potentially threatening somebody along the Gulf Coast midweek next week. So we are going to have to watch this very closely in the coming days. What about the conditions for strengthening? They look very favorable. Take a look at this. Over the next several days, as this tropical wave moves off towards the west, lots of moisture to work with, and by the time we get towards early next week, this is embedded within a pocket of deep tropical moisture and no dry air to disrupt it. Water temperatures also looking very warm, and also the Caribbean is untapped, and the water is very warm and very deep, so this is an extremely favorable setup for strengthening there as well. And then wind shear, in the short term, it will be dealing with some northerly wind shear actually associated with Fiona's outflow. But once this gets past the Dominican Republic and Jamaica and gets into the northwestern Caribbean early next week, this is going to be underneath an upper level high, providing ventilation in multiple directions. So this looks very favorable low wind shear wise for this to strengthen as well. So bottom line is very possible we'll be talking about a hurricane in the northwestern Caribbean by early next week. And the next name on the list is Hermine at the Weather Authority. We'll be tracking this very closely in the coming days, but it wouldn't be the worst idea to at least review your hurricane plan. Meanwhile, in the far northern Atlantic, we have Tropical Storm Gaston. Nice burst of convection there over the past few minutes. Winds of 65 miles per hour, making it a strong tropical storm. And over the next several days, Gaston's going to meander in the northern Atlantic and eventually fizzle out. But this poses no threat to us here in the United States. Finally, we have Major Hurricane Fiona. There's that eye popping out this afternoon, moving off to the north, and this is going to bring significant impacts not just to Bermuda, but also Canada as we head towards this weekend. Right now, winds of 130 miles per hour, making it a strong Category 4 hurricane, and over the next several days, racing off to the north, bringing perhaps 100-plus mile-an-hour winds to Nova Scotia as we head towards Saturday. So this is going to be a very major impact for parts of Canada. Back home in southwest Florida, 92 the high this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms remaining in the forecast as we head towards the second half of today. You can see timing this out, dry for now, but as we head towards mid-afternoon by 2:30, there's that Gulf sea breeze lighting up with those storms, and these storms continue to build and spread across the rest of the area as we head towards 4:30 and 6 o'clock as well. So that evening commute does look to be stormy for some of you, so make sure you have the rain gear ready along with the Wink weather app, and you should be good to go. The good news is heading into tonight, these do begin to fizzle out, and we should begin to dry out after that. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. So scattered storms today, 92 the high. Tomorrow, first day of fall, it's going to be 93 degrees. So it's going to be a hot start to the new season. And we're going to be looking at lower rain chances through Friday as well. Beyond that, looking ahead to the weekend and early next week, we're going to begin seeing increasing rain chances and cloudiness as well as the Caribbean disturbance gets closer and closer to Cuba.